Yeah, UI patterns. UI patterns. Harish, end of the session, can you just share some inputs about Bootstrap? Yes, that video. Okay, okay, okay. Fine, fine. No issues. Okay. Thank you, Harish. Yeah. Harish.
Yeah, Harish, can you explain about all this? I'm confused actually. Yeah, yeah, Harish. I have tried all these things, but it is still confusing. Can you simplify some 5 or 10 minutes? Yeah, yeah. What is that span Excel each and yeah? For example, if you take Bootstrap, for example, I mean Bootstrap. There is a language called Bootstrap. In that, there is a grid. The grid is divided into 12. Okay. No, no, not SAP Bootstrap, normal Bootstrap language. So in which, so there is a grid. In grid, there will be 12 section. 12. Grid is divided into two. You understood? Yeah. So, I mean, in SAP, is it the same way or? Okay. Uh, I mean, if you can explain this, how Excel that Excel L, M, and S. All these are there, right? Can you explain? If possible, please explain. It is still confusing for me. Simple form. This is for responsiveness, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is very important, right? Because we need to adjust the sizes. Oh, yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, I have tried, but I am confused. See, sometimes it is span s, empty span s. Sometimes it is label span. So I'm a bit confused. So if you can explain, we can understand easily. Column M, column L. So why one only one value? Only what is the difference between that one and four? This. Okay. So can we see it in practical different examples? Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. No, no, no. My question is, see, there are a lot of properties in that one. I was unable to understand those things. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll try to understand. Please go through this one once. Get model.
Yes, Harish. Yep, clear.
వస్తాయి.
ఒక 5, 6 పోతే పోతాయి. ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు నాకే పోయాడు. 3 years experience.
No, Harish. Everything is fine.
Yes, yes. Harish, question. So, when are we planning to use SAP ABAP environment actually in our course? Yeah. Okay.
this thing. org.fragment.xml couldn't be loaded. Why org.demoapp1 by Fragments? The folder is Fragments, not Fragment. Again, org.demoapp1 instructions.fragment.xml could not be loaded from Fragments. Why? org.demoapp1. It has to be loaded. This is the folder, and what we did, this dot get view dot get id, and we are calling org dot demo app1. Okay. Okay, see, we need to create this folder inside the web app. Paste. See, now it is inside the web app folder. Now if I run, it will open without any problem. Uh, okay, this .oinst dialog .open is not a function. Okay, let's debug and see. Add dependent. Okay, with id fragment sap.u null core fragment.def fragment definition core. Why it's giving error? Okay, with id fragment 0 vertical layout, everything looks okay, but still okay. We are using here core, but we haven't declared the core library. Okay, now I think so we won't get any error. See, now we are able to see the instruction form. See, sorry, instruction. So what I'll do is I'll replace the instructions here. So you need to know what are entities. If HTML entities, if you open this HTML entities, see, in HTML, if you want to use the greater than symbol, you need to use this thing. If you want to use the greater than, you need to use GT. If you want to use the ampersand, then you need to mention AMP. So um, what I'll do is uh, find and replace text. So I have already, not in JavaScript, So what I did is I have already created a list of instructions. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay. I'll replace this with what is the HTML entity, this one, and what is the HTML entity for this, and what is its GT. Okay, find and replace. See, it has removed all those things and it's replaced. Okay, see, now I'll copy and paste it inside this content. Okay, it should be on the same line. Okay, no, maybe it should be on the same line. Let's try without putting it on the same line. See, okay, now we are able to see the instructions did on the screen. Now there should be a button to close it, right? So what I'll do is, after the vertical layout, I'm creating a aggregation called buttons. See, here you have this aggregation called buttons directly for this dialog. So I'm opening the buttons and closing the buttons. Inside the buttons aggregation, you can mention as many buttons as you can. Buttons, I don't want the closing tag. I will close directly on one line itself. Button, and what is the text for it is close. And on press of it, we need to tell that it has to close. On instruction dialog, close. Okay. So what I'm doing is, on instruction close function, I'll function and I'll close this instruction dialog. We have initialized the variable and it is referencing to this particular XML fragment. So I'm calling this instruction dialog and I'm just closing it. See, you have a close button here. When you close, it will automatically get closed. See, like this. Now this is the one example of fragment. 1 minute charging. Okay, creating fragment. Now we'll create a pop-up using controller. Okay, controller means we'll see every time see it looks like a lengthy process, right? Creating a fragment and creating a separate fragment, and then you need to call from your application. So sometimes if you want to create a simple small pop-up, then following that process is a very lengthy. So if you are declaring the pop-up, if you are creating a pop-up with many fields, then you can go with this process. But if you are creating a pop-up with a very less data or very small pop-up, then you can directly code the XML code in JavaScript itself. Like when you're opening when you're opening on the time only, you can tell that you are means you can write the JavaScript code itself. So now what we'll do is, we'll try to create a pop-up. When the user clicks on submit, we are asking them, okay, we are already created this thing. So same like this, we'll create a pop-up and we'll ask the user to put a remarks. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll go to the main controller. Where is that submit button? Here, on submit press. Okay, I'll make it as on submit press 1, and I'm reusing on submit again. Okay, on submit press. Okay, function. Okay, in this function, when the user opens this, we are asking him to put a remarks. Okay, put a remarks, then he'll put the remarks, and then he'll submit. Okay, so now we need to initialize a variable, so we are using this dot o submit dialog. Okay, we are again opening a dialog called submit. See here, we are directly creating the dialog in function itself. We are not calling a we are not creating a fragment in fragment folder and then we are using it here. We are directly creating the UI control in JavaScript code itself. As I have already told, we can we can build the view using JavaScript as well. In the first class, if you remember, we can create a JavaScript view, we can create XML view, we can create HTML view, but SAP suggests us to use XML. So, but just because it's a small pop-up, we are trying to create the pop-up using JavaScript. Okay, so what I am doing is I am creating a new, and I am mentioning that sap.m.dialog because the dialog belongs to sap.m.library, and I am opening this flower braces. Okay, once I open the flower braces, in this thing I can mention it as in the form of object. So what is the first property that I need to give? I need to give the title. What is the title? You don't need to give the double equal to here, you need to use colons here. What is the title that I want to give? So I'm giving this, are you really want to submit? I'm asking a question to the user, and after that I'm starting the content. Okay, in the content I'm asking the user to enter some remarks. So for entering the remarks, I'll use that UI control called text area. Okay, in the content, what I'm doing is I'm creating a text area. Text area belongs to which library? sap.m.text area. Okay, this is the text area. After that, I need to open this brackets, and in the brackets, first value, that first argument that it takes is its ID. I need to give here one ID. I'll give ID remarks. Okay, and then followed by if you want to specify the more properties, then you need to open this flower braces. Okay, in the flower braces, you need to mention how many rows. These are all the properties, you need to know them. I need 3 rows, and what is the max length? Max length equal to, I want to give max length as 100, means user can't enter more than 100 characters. And in the placeholder, I'll mention placeholder. Okay, placeholder, I'm asking the user to enter, please enter comments. Okay, we have come close to 9:30. We'll only finish this topic and we'll see the next example on Tuesday. Okay, we'll see about the value help in our next class. Okay, so we'll finish this one and we'll review for the rest of the day. Okay, and begin button. Begin button means uh, first button, and you have this for the dialog. You have two aggregations called begin button and end button. Okay, now I'm going to create a begin button. Begin button. Okay, and begin button is also a type of button. So what is this begin button? Is new, and the button belongs to which library? sap.m.button. Almost all the UI controls belongs to sap.m.button. Okay, and the text that we are going to display for that button is okay. Okay, and on press of it, what should happen? On press of it, what should happen? Okay, that we are going to write in press function. Okay, so I am displaying message box dot success. I am displaying it as okay is pressed. Okay, now we have created the begin button. Okay, on function of it, I want to display that message box dot success okay is pressed, and along with that when the user clicks on OK, I need to close that dialog as well. So this dot submit dialog, I am closing that. I'm closing that dialog. But if you want to use, see, this is outside the function. This we have declared outside the function. If you want to use inside this function, then you need to write this bind of this. Okay, you need to write this thing. If you want to call this variable inside your function, then you need to write this thing. Okay, bind dot this. Again, we have another button. One is for pressing OK. OK means it will submit when the user presses on this OK button. What happens? Will submit the data to the server. If the user don't want to proceed, then what he'll clicks, and again another button will define is end button. Okay, if he don't want to submit after entering the remarks, he thinks that he don't want to submit it, then we'll create an end button, and again this button belongs to a library called sap.m.button. Okay, and if you don't want to, if you want to give an id here, you can mention here, and you can give your id here, but we don't want to give id, so I am directly opening the flower braces, and the text that we are giving for this is cancel. Okay, cancel, and then we need to write press function. Okay, and now here we need to throw an throw a message to the user. Okay, what message will throw? Message box dot error. Okay, you what he's pressed? He pressed cancel. Cancel is pressed. After pressing the cancel, we'll close the dialog. Okay, if you want to use this variable inside this function, you should have this bind of this. Okay, now now what we'll do is, after close, what should happen? After closing, what we need to do is we need to destroy that. If we didn't, what happens if we didn't destroy? If you open again, it will show already existing remarks, which we don't want. So I'm, in order to clear that values, I am destroying this fragment.
ఒకటి వినయ్ ఆహా చేసే వాళ్ళని బట్టి వినయ్
Vivek, you are not on mute. You need to write another function called after close. After close is the function which will trigger automatically after you have closed your fragment. Okay, now we'll destroy this fragment. For that we have a function called destroy. Okay, we have destroyed this function. If you want to use this variable inside this function, then you need to definitely have this bind of this. Okay, bind of this, and once you have declared all these things, then you need to open your dialog. This dot okay dot close. Okay, now I am formatting the document. I have formatted the document. What happens is, first it will open a dialog. In that open, the title is, it will ask, are you really want to submit, and then it's followed by there is a text area where you will enter the comments. If the user enters okay, then it means we are submitting the data to the server. If the user clicks on end button, which is called cancel, then we are it will show it a message that cancel is pressed, and it will submit the dialog. It will close the dialog, but we are not sending the data to the server. After close means it will destroy that server, means whenever you are clicking on the submit button, it will create a new fragment every time, and after close it will destroy. Then after once we declare all these buttons and will add to that submit dialog, then we are opening that then we are opening that. So here we are opening, we are not closing. Then we are opening the submit dialog. Let's see how it works. I'm clicking on submit. Already it's thrown the error. 3 is type of string, where this 3, okay, 3 is a type of integer, so we don't need to give quotes to it. See, but why it's not occupying the full space? Okay, along with that you need to give another property called there is another property called, what is that property, which you will mention the columns width as well. Let's see in the API reference, what text area, right? Text area, property calls. Yeah, this is the property calls equal to 50, means it will increase the width. Submit. See, it has increased the width of comments. Please enter comments. So I'm entering some value. If I want to submit it to the server, then I need to press OK. See, OK is pressed. Suppose if I want to cancel it, I can click cancel. Now it is showing that cancel is pressed. Okay. Now you understood how we have created a dialog using JavaScript. Okay. At this point, we'll stop our class. We'll continue on Tuesday. Okay. Rajiv and Vivek, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'm stopping the recording.